The next stop is Rugby at 7:37. So return the guard buzzer. You do that by pressing B twice. So reverse it to forward, brake release, and power to notch 3. So departing Milton Keynes Central, the speed limit is 125 miles an hour, and we have about 33 miles to Rugby. Where at that point we go straight on, and the line to the right goes towards the Trent Valley to Stafford via Nuneaton. So there was also a sign below the signal we just passed. This means we have a neutral section coming up, where I have to put the power to neutral. I mean, this is the original 390, so neutral sections weren't implemented, but I'll just do it for realism. So there should be a neutral section coming up soon. Why is there a giant tent thing on the left? So the next station we'll pass through is Wolverton, where the works are. I think Wolverton is where lots of trains get refurbished. Well, other than in Doncaster or Kilmarnock. It is 7:17 and the sun still hasn't risen yet. Maybe I should have picked a different weather for this scenario. I wonder if it's possible to have like dynamic weather in train sim. So passing through the neutral section now, we should be able to resume power shortly. And if my game stops lagging. Go on. So I think we've passed the neutral section. We should be able to resume accelerating to 125. Yeah, sorry for the lag. I don't know what's going on with my PC. I mean, I have nothing else running. The only things I have running on my computer is Train Sim and the Windows DVR. Nothing else. But other than some OS services. So we should be going at 125 most of the way to Rugby. This is Wolverton Station. And there should be a line joining on the left from Wolverton Works. Oh yeah, I did look at the timetable for that container train that just passed. It does go on the up fast. I think it's until Bletchley or something, where it goes into the up slow, just to let other Pendolinos pass. So now that we're doing 124 miles an hour, I have activated speed set that should keep us at 124 until we need to brake. Yeah, this route would look a lot better in the daytime, like noonish. I think if I did a return journey in like a Pendolino or like a container train, I would try and go for the middle of the day. Maybe some better weather pattern in this scenario editor. Digi Station, wonder what this one was called. I'll just put it as a caption when I edit it. Like, this station was called this and it closed on this year. Maybe it was a victim of the beaching axe. So between here and Rugby there are no other stations, just tunnels. So shortly the line to the right should go off towards Northampton and then come back at Hillmorton Junction near Rugby. There's some engineering workers on top of that gantry. That's a nice touch. I think they might be stood there for the rest of their lives, not moving, just doing the same animation over and over again. So it should be all greens all the way down to Birmingham. Well, apart from Coventry, where we need to wait for a stopping train to enter platform 4. Yeah, I think I've kind of run out of things to say. Oh yeah, the Caledonian Sleeper. The thing about the Caledonian Sleeper is that they use really noisy Class 92s on the West Coast Main Line. Like, why can't you just use a quieter locomotive like a 90 to haul the Mark 5s? Because if we were to haul by a 92, we'd just be kept up all night by the 92's traction motor fans or whatever causes the noise. I don't think 86s are that much quieter, or 87s. I mean, 90s are quite quiet. Also noticed that the Lowland Sleeper and the Highland Sleeper have been like combined into one. So instead of having 2 trains that leave London, there's now 1 train because of quarantine. So what the Caledonian Sleeper does now, it goes from London to Edinburgh. That's a 350. It goes from London to Edinburgh, divides, where one portion goes to Glasgow Central, then the other portion goes to Inverness, and nowhere else. I don't remember exactly how it gets to Edinburgh. It might go through Carstairs, and the Glasgow section just comes back in itself. Or it might take a different route to Edinburgh. I don't know what that other route would be. So the line on the right goes off towards Northampton, and we go straight on, more directly to Rugby. And we have about 21 miles left. Yeah, we should be there in no time. So doing at 36 and arriving at 36. So we're on time. So hopefully not doing something stupid and put the train into emergency brake. Put the train into emergency brake and then make us late. I think the siding on the right is like a tamper siding for tampers, like rail track, like on track maintenance vehicles. Yeah, I think for the rest of the journey it's just countryside with all the trees and the grass and nature. If I press U, I can put the blind down. It's not very useful at this moment in time. Hopefully the frame rate should stay pretty decent. So if I press Shift Z, I'm getting about 20 FPS. So it is after 7 AM, so I can use a horn. I think the horn laws is like 11 PM to 7 AM. And I think you can only use a horn during those times if someone's on the track. So you can't even sound the horn during level crossings or when passing level crossings. So what could happen is at like 3 in the morning someone could just walk across the track and accidentally get hit by a train because the train didn't sound its horn because it's against the law. another Pendo from Lancaster to London. So I don't think the speed limit should be decreasing anytime soon. Got another 10 minutes to Rugby. So in the future I do have quite a few videos planned. So I think the one after this series will be an empty train from Motherwell to Larkhall, and then Larkhall to Glasgow. Because I do another empty ScotRail run from Miller Hill EMU yard to Edinburgh in a 380. So the speed limit is going down to 120. So I put the power back to maximum. I put a speed set on when I get to 119. So like a 380 from like Miller Hill Depot to Edinburgh. Maybe I could do like North Berwick to Edinburgh, although I think lots of people have already done that, so it's not really that interesting. Maybe I could do something completely off the wall, like rescue a failed unit somewhere. Maybe I could do like a complete run from, like, as I said earlier, Edinburgh to King's Cross, because I have all the route. Just need to make scenarios for it. Speed limit now back up to 125. Probably because all the tight corners we just passed through. So accelerate back up to 125. Or maybe I should put up like a poll on Twitter asking for why I should drive next. Give like people a bunch of options and then just pick one. And then I'll do which one is the most popular. So shortly the line from Northampton and Daventry should join up on the right at Hillmodton Junction. Also, I was making a scenario yesterday where I took a 380 from North Berwick to Edinburgh, and real-time trains has this new feature where ScotRail trains have the diagrams published, which means if you look on a ScotRail train, if it's a certain type of train, it'll say at the top of the screen which train it is, like a pair of 305s or like a pair of 170s. Like, during quarantine, why would you use such long trains? Like, the train that I did a scenario about yesterday was from North Berwick to Edinburgh, and it was formed of 6 coaches. Like, everybody's in quarantine. How many key workers are there for you to run 6 coaches? Also, there's a neutral section coming up. I think this is the Watford Gap, where the M1 runs parallel with the West Coast Main Line. So after this neutral section, I should accelerate back up to 125 just to make sure we're on time. Yeah, as I said earlier, this route is beautifully modelled. It's very good. And I'm speeding again. I got to put it down to 125. warning of 110 as we come closer towards Rugby. So we're just bringing our speed gently down towards 110. Okay, now a bit more aggressively. And release. So, leaving the tunnel, this speed limit is going back up to 125, and there's a Pendolino from Manchester. So instead of having 3 trains an hour from Manchester to London, Avanti are now running 1 train an hour from Manchester to London. So accelerating back up to 125, and we should start braking shortly as we approach Rugby. In Rugby Station, we are due into platform 1. So approach Rugby, come across the curve, take a junction towards the left, and stop in platform 1. There's also a neutral section coming up, and you're doing way over the speed limit. What if you did like a speed run from like London to Birmingham, and like go at 150 miles an hour, because why not? I mean, it is a simulator and not real life. Even though I was saying that, going at 150 through the other section might derail. Maybe I should go like at 150 in places that are only 125 miles an hour. So I'm putting the brakes on fairly hard. So we just had a single yellow, which means I should perceive the next aspect as danger. Until I can see that it's not danger. Assuming my frame rate goes back up. It should do that eventually. So signal up ahead has cleared to a single yellow with a feather aspect, which means we are cleared into platform 1 at Rugby. Speed limit is 125. So coming into Rugby, the speed limit is 60 miles an hour. It's a bit fast. Just disable the tilt. I mean, we're not going that quickly. Maybe I should turn it off. I mean, on. Yeah, Rugby looks completely different to how it did like 10, 20, 30 years ago. I think it had like a big giant shed with lots of platforms, and now it's being completely remodeled. So at Rugby, I'm aiming to stop right at the end of the platform, as this train is formed of 11 coaches. Yeah, the brakes on here are really good. So, arrival at Rugby. And stop. The next stop is Coventry at 7:46. So return the guard buzzer, put the reverser to forward, release brake and power to notch 3. So departing Rugby, the speed limit is 60 miles an hour. And we have about 11 miles to next stop, which is Coventry, which is where the line from Leamington Spa, Oxford, Reading, Bournemouth join. And going further beyond Coventry, the line to the right goes to Nuneaton. There's also a neutral section coming up. I think they're placed about every 15 miles, 15-20 miles, I think. So there should be a junction coming up. I think it's called Rugby Trent Valley Junction. It's where the line straight on goes to Coventry and Birmingham, and then the line to the right goes to Nuneaton, Stafford. So the neutral section should be coming up soon. The speed limit also went up to 75. And it should also be going up to 125 pretty soon. Oh yeah, when we got into Rugby, we did get in about 2 minutes early. So I think the timetable might be a bit generous. So the speed limit is now 125, so we can start accelerating to that. There's a Pendo from Wolverhampton, probably. Yeah, press F6 and nothing happened. Oh, hit in the neutral section. So accelerating up to 125. I'll put the speed set on when I get to 124 miles an hour. So between here and Coventry there are no stations in between, so it's just more open countryside, which I think looks pretty nice. And maybe some houses dotted here and there. And then after Coventry, the amount of stations should increase because as we approach Birmingham. I'm trying to think of things to talk about because I kind of ran out. I guess I can talk about uni. So the date of recording is the 25th of April, so it's Saturday, and this video should go out on, I think it's Thursday. And you're speeding again. What a surprise. So for next week, Monday should be part 3 of the video from Bristol to Swansea. Tuesday should be this previous video, so from London to Milton Keynes. Wednesday should be my trip to West Midlands I did about 4 years ago. Then Thursday should be this video, so part 2. Then Friday should be part 3 from Coventry to Birmingham. And you're speeding still. We have about 6 miles to Coventry, so we should be there in the next like 7 minutes. So let's lock the speed set at 124 miles an hour. And then air resistance will just, well, a combination of air resistance, resistance from the rails on the wheels, and then resistance on the pantograph from the friction on the wire, the overhead wire. It should slow the train down towards 0, and then the speed set will kick in and maintain us at 124 miles an hour. I wonder how bad the visibility is on a Pendolino in real life. I mean, if you look at a Pendolino, the front windscreen isn't really that big. So I guess it must be like really hard to see things out the front window. But it is obviously big enough to see things, otherwise it wouldn't be in service. So at uni, I've almost finished my second year. I've got one more piece of coursework to do, and it is a giant pain in the ass. What I have to do is create like a word processing software that will take in a bunch of words from a text file, look through them all, and kind of find out data about it, like what the word is and where it's located, and how many unique words are in the text. So to get the maximum amount of marks, I have to use an AVL tree. That's pretty much like a binary search tree, except using it's like a binary search tree, except it's more level, I think. Oh no, you can Google an AVL tree. Speed limit is going down to 75 as we approach Coventry. So, and I have to make this in C# using a GUI. I mean, it's not that bad C#. At least it's not C or C++. So Coventry is coming up in the next mile. So we'll start braking for that. I don't think it's entirely realistic for Pedalino to go to maximum braking to Salford Station. Where is it? I wonder what real drivers would do when... Like, I wonder what real drivers would do when they're travelling at 125 and they've got a station coming up. So approaching Coventry, we are due into platform number 3, and I'm aiming to stop right at the end of the platform, just like I'll be doing for all of our station stops. So this is Coventry. The line from the left joins from Leamington Spa, and I'm coming in way too fast. And the line going off towards the right after we leave goes to Nuneaton. Yeah, I really should have come into the platform at about 20 miles an hour, not 40. So we have a danger aspect up ahead. It's because we're waiting for a stopping train to come in from Birmingham, New Street. So just finding the brakes. And arrival at Coventry. This is where this part ends. Follow me on Twitter for future video updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next part, where we continue to Birmingham New Street.